Yo, yo, yo. What's up, guys? Welcome back. All right, AMC, point of interest coming up here on Wednesday. I'm going to go over that real quick for those that are new to the channel. Okay. So, the points of interest that we track on AMC's cycle, right? Because we take a cycle analysis approach. Okay. They look like this. Well, kind of. We got to go for some reason, TradingView, like if you're not on the correct time frame or something, it just does not display these patterns correctly. Because these are patterns that I took from the AMC arc here in June, because it's just it's the best representation, I think, of how the cycle works: the ups, the downs, the flat, everything. So, anyways, the cycle, right, is made up of 62 days. So 62 days is the length of the cycle, and inside the cycle we have the green, and going into the peak, the blue portion, okay, is 12 days or 13 days in length, okay, and that is where we label these POIs. Those are the POIs that we track in the entire cycle. Now, it's going to make sense a little bit here. We have positive and inverse POIs. The inverse POIs are the exact opposite, right? So the price comes down, and these are, now I'm not just going to label anything coming down. We do have a threshold here. The threshold is at least 70%. We're talking extreme volatility on AMC inside that 13-day window. Now, this is the misconception here, right, in the cycle, because a lot of people think that going into the POIs, I'm calling for extreme upside or extreme downside, which is just not the case. I mean, this is a good correlation here because, 8 times or 7 times out of 8, we've experienced volatility inside this 13-day window. I mean, you can track it yourself. You can put this yourself on the chart. And, we experience volatility inside this 13-day window 7 out of 8 times, which is a really good correlation. But there are, periods in the market, depending on what the market's doing, where we have no POIs, right? It's just flat. And these are just called neutral POIs. You can see the majority of them are neutral, where nothing happens. The price just remains flat. So that, when we go up to these POIs, like, I'm not expecting the price to squeeze every time or anything like that. Like, it only gives the opportunity for the price to do something crazy based on the correlation. And this is pretty much saying that because of the correlation, it's rare for us to see AMC do anything crazy outside of this 13-day window. So anything that happens, beyond the blue portion of the cycle here, which is quite a bit of, a pretty big ratio here. I mean, 13 days versus 62 is pretty big. It's 1 to 5. So it's just this grayed out area here where, like, pretty much nothing happens on AMC following the POI, or whether the POI is just neutral, right? So here's the thing, right? We have a POI coming up. Okay, it's coming up on Wednesday, and this is where, I look at everything else. I look at technicals. I look at what the market is doing, okay, indicators, all that good stuff. I look at when going into this POI, because if the price looks bullish to me, okay, then that's just going to make this conclusion here or thesis stronger, right, on whether the price is going to turn around or not. And right now, yeah, we're down 8%, but I'm going to show you guys a little bit of correlation here inside the AMC cycle. So we're not using other patterns or reference patterns. We're using AMC's historical chart here to pull this up here. Now, if we pull everything back up, the neutral, the positive, and the inverse POIs, we come back to this section over here in the cycle. Right. Okay, again, I'm going to take 62 days. And I want to use 2 cycles, so I'm going to do this. I'm going to pull up this entire section right here because I want to use 2. Now, this pattern here is now relevant to place anywhere in the cycle, because I want to compare it to the current cycle that's happening right now. All right, we're coming up to this POI. So if we take it from December 4th to April 10th here, Now we have 120 days. Okay, we bring this guy all the way down because the price right now is extremely, flat. Can't see anything. And we have ourselves a pretty good correlation here, right? The price is descending. And this section right here, okay, this little setup here, which looked to be a double bottom or at least a rounding bottom, right? We talked about. And this one down here does have one fake out. So it springs down before going up, which is the same thing that AMC is doing right now. And the good thing about this, guys, is that, well, it's inside another 62 day cycle. Another cycle happened in 2020 of AMC, right? So it makes the correlation here a little bit better too to track, because this cycle is inside of AMC's chart. It's always going to be more relevant if you're tracking the chart's patterns versus anything else. This is 1-to-1, right? So this is something we used for predicting both the March and August run-up, because both of these landed again inside the POI. Right after the POI hits, volatility. POI hits, volatility. So, yeah, right now, I mean, we haven't had really any since August of 2022, guys. It's almost been 2 years where we haven't experienced positive volatility here. So we haven't rallied in almost 2 years, like a year and a half. So it's pretty crazy stuff. I mean, at some point, the stock has to turn around, right? We talked about fundamentals and everything like that. If all that is good and checks out, there's no reason why a stock should be trading down here in this range. Okay, so yeah, the technicals, guys, nothing has changed. This looks to be a fake out and looks to be ready to break out in the next few days. If it starts to turn around here, going inside the POI on Wednesday, if it starts to turn around, I think the chances of this going up here in the short term are greater, right? We still have the trend line here, expected to hit this trend line here at $7-8, which would put it at about a 75% rally, which checks out, right? Checks out inside the POI. Anything above 70 checks out. All right, so a few things we can correlate a little bit to without, tracking the POIs here and now everything else, right? Technicals and stuff. I've already gone over, some of the reference patterns we're tracking, like Mara, NVAX, Carvana. And one of the things I had said about Carvana too is that if you take a look at the all-in-one indicator, right, that shows the ROC of both stocks, so you can see them back to back, it goes down to the same range. If you guys remember last year, Carvana, pull it up. All right, Carvana fell, okay, August 2021, and then it bottomed December of 2022. And you can see right here it starts to climb back up. The similarities between the two is, well, Carvana fell a lot quicker, and Carvana fell from 375 all the way down to 350, I believe. Now, AMC now with the split and putting everything together here, that's where we get that similar percentage, right? It goes from 400 down to where it's currently trading at, which is 367. So I believe 360 was the bottom today. So yeah, similar change in, how they shorted it. I actually did the calculation, and it was like 10,000% to the upside, right? If somebody was short down here or up here, all the way down to these levels is 10,000%, which is the same thing we see on Carvana's chart. So, like the correlation, I know people keep saying like, oh, we didn't have a reverse split or diluted. I mean, that's the thing, guys. That's reverse splits, yes, in the way that the reverse split didn't directly dilute the shareholder. It was the aftermath of the reverse split, right? So AMC could have been trading up here when it was on the reverse split, but these guys took advantage of the bump in price, and then like we talked about, that was enough for them to start bringing it down. So with Carvana, it just happened a lot quicker. It happened a lot quicker, and the accumulation, period took took a little bit, right? So it was just like this, and then bottomed, and then boom, accumulation, and then boom. Like it kept going. Right now it's in what I think is reaccumulation. So yeah, everything at its time. But these sectors, I think, coming up, getting ready to push here with the markets. Now that we have also the crypto markets pumping, I think it makes sense that AMC and these other guys start pumping back up as well. But it's going to be very important, right, to track just volatility and to make sure that, well, if the price does not hold this range and it starts heading down lower into the $2 range, at that point, I'm personally going to just relook everything, back up a little bit and see where the price is going to go from there. But right now, this just seems to be a fake out to me. So we'll see what happens, man. But yeah, in the next few days, I'm expecting some volatility. Again, it's not guaranteed. It's just my projection based on what I see here. We haven't had a positive one since August of 2022. It's been quite a bit of time. And man, AMC is extremely oversold on the daily chart compared to the entire market. Right now, it's leading it's all the way at the bottom at like negative 95% with BNGO on the 150 stocks that I'm tracking, popular stocks that I'm tracking. So yeah, check that video out. It's going to be the video prior to this when it talks a little bit about that, the Mara correlation as well. Check that out, man. All right, guys, that's it for me on this video. I'll keep you updated the next few days, see what happens. Make sure you guys subscribe if you want to get notifications on when I go live, because I go live intraday a lot, man. All right, take care. Bye-bye.